Welcome back to Outnumbered. Well, the RNC asking candidates to sign a pledge refusing a third-party run if they don't get the nomination. Now, in theory, it would apply to all of the 17 candidates. Several have already signed or say that they plan on doing so. The pledge says, quote, "I affirm that if I do not win the 2016 Republican nomination for President of the United States, I will endorse the 2016 Republican presidential nominee, regardless of who it is. I further pledge that I will not seek to run as an independent or write-in candidate, nor will I seek or accept the nomination for president of any other party." But make no mistake, the real focus of that whole pledge is one man, Donald Trump, who in the first debate refused to rule out an independent bid. Today, the billionaire businessman will meet with the RNC chairman, who will reportedly push Trump to sign the pledge, and there are reports out there today saying that he will do so. Yet the Donald may not be that concerned about signing a pledge, with a new national poll showing him at 30%. That's up 4 points from early August, long before the debate. All right, Jesse Watters. So There's mixed reports on this, but one report is saying that Trump is going to sign this pledge. If I were Trump, I would have said, I'll sign your pledge if you sign mine, and send a pledge to the RNC saying, pledge to fight illegal immigration.
That's a brilliant idea. You should get in Trump's ear. He's probably watching right now. I thought Trump made the pledge. I think at the debate he said, when I'm the GOP nominee, I will not run an independent candidacy. But honestly, I think it's smart for the RNC to try to lasso Trump, and the RNC doesn't usually make smart moves, so I applaud them there. But this is so he just doesn't play spoiler. He still can play spoiler now, just from within.
But Jesse, what if he doesn't sign it? Does this mean he can't run now? They're not going to put him on the ballot?
I think there's some delegate controversy, and they can screw him over in some states. I don't really know the details.
South Carolina, they can.
Yeah, you can do some things to make life tough, but he'll sign it, and I think it'll be a good thing.
And Ainsley, he'll infuriate the base too. A lot of people want him to not run as an independent. They'd like to see him sign this pledge, but I still think he should get a media opportunity out of this and say, look, the RNC, the Republican Party, a lot of you establishment folks, you've been anti-illegal immigration. Sign my pledge, and I'll sign yours.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. It's going to be interesting to see what he does, though, because he did say that in the debate. So is he going to go back on his word? Now he's going to sign this pledge?
Or he needs leverage. Remember, he needs the leverage there.
Isn't this just I don't know, is this growing proof, though, that he's driving this election? Like, he is driving where everything is going, not just with the Republican Party, but with both parties. I mean, he's driving the conversation. He's driving the decisions that are made. I mean, he's yet again he's gaining in the polls,
That's why
Andrea.
it's such a risk, though, if the RNC does this, because he is driving. He's in control. So what if he says, I'm not going to sign it? Then what do they do?
Well, right. Well, even and 30%. Let's talk to you. Julie, you've worked on campaigns. Sure. He's at 30%. Right now, he seems to be going up. None of these issues have hurt him. None of the attacks by other candidates have hurt him.
And what's Reince Priebus going to do when he goes back on his pledge, right? So let's say he doesn't get the nomination. Ooh, what's the RNC, which is probably not as popular among Republicans as Donald Trump? What are they going to do?
They're going to write a sternly written letter.
Really, you lied to us, Donald Trump. You broke your word. Meanwhile, as he's completely decimating their candidate in November's election. I don't know. I mean, I think you make an excellent point. He is absolutely driving the national narrative.
But what's the read from Democrats on this?
The read from national Democrats is the better Donald Trump does, the happier we are, because I think there would be nothing more than Democrats would love than to go up against Donald Trump in a general election. He does very well among Republicans, but if you look at him in a general
matchup,
what
are you saying, that they don't take him realistic?
Well, no, I think they take him seriously. He would take anybody seriously, but if you look at his numbers today, he's bombing in any general matchup against any Democrat, including
Actually, that's not true. He's beating Hillary in Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio head-to-head. So I wouldn't consider that bombing.
You know what? He's not. Listen, look at his numbers in a national election, and the reality.
Yeah, but Ainsley, this is what people said about him in the beginning. They laughed him off in the very early stages. I would not laugh or count Trump out now, but especially on this pledge. I mean, even if he does sign it, you pointed out, like, who's to say he wouldn't go back on it?
I think if he does sign it, this will be his excuse. Hey, I'll go ahead and sign it because I already know I'm going to be the nominee, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's actually exactly what he's probably going to do. That's good advice, Ainsley. You should tell him that.
All right, if you're listening, Don.
I know there's some reports he's expected to address the media tomorrow, so.
Which is always so fun when he does.
Well, insiders are saying that Reince Priebus would not be going to Trump Tower today to get him to sign this unless he knew that he was going to sign it.
And by the way, you have the chairman of the Republican National Committee going to Trump Tower.
Yeah.
Right. He's
Kissing
not
the ring.
kissing the ring. He's not going down to D.C. to the RNC. The RNC's coming to him. What does that say
But
about
that's
him?
the way that Trump works. We've asked him to come on Outnumbered a number of times, and he said, why don't you ladies come over to me? They wanted us to do it from Trump Tower.
Hey, it's not a bad place to go.
Come on, Donald. Jesse's doing it. He's sitting right here. We're nice, right?
That's so far.
We don't bite. All right.
I'm team advantage. I don't know.
What?
What is that?
That's why
you want the leverage?
No, home team advantage. That's why he would want that, right?
Right.
Be in his comfort zone.
I think Trump could handle you ladies just fine wherever he went.
All right, road trip.
I want to go back to something that you said, though, Ainsley.
Yeah.
When, I wouldn't put it past Donald Trump either, if he's not going to sign that pledge, to have someone come to his offices and say, he begged me to sign the pledge, and I didn't do it, and here's why, and hold a press conference. I mean, he could do anything. He's very unpredictable.
Well, look at South Carolina. They're making everyone who is a GOP nominee, they're making them sign a pledge saying it's a loyalty pledge, that you have to be loyal to the party. And if you don't sign this pledge, we're not putting you on the ballot. So his name might not be on the ballot in South Carolina if he decides not to sign.
But you just raised such an excellent point. You have Donald Trump, who potentially has the ability to completely embarrass Reince Priebus by saying, this guy came crawling to me to my own house, and I told him to take a hike.
Well, think about what he tweets. I mean, when people ask him for things, he said, oh, they come to me, they beg me for things, they want me to promote their book, they want me to do this. He outs people all the time.
Unbelievable. If you're Reince Priebus, actually, this is a pretty heavy
Is it Reince or is it Rence?
I think it's Reince.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, guys. One very blue state resuming its war on soda. A lawmaker's proposed bill on big gulps, priorities, people, that could require you to show your ID for, like for alcohol. Same thing, soda, alcohol. And right after the show, head to the web for more Outnumbered Overtime. Log on to foxnews.com/outnumbered. Click that OT tab. Fire off any questions or comments or photos, but please, people, keep them clean.
Whoa.